This is Dr. Chris's Radio Horror Show here on the WCW Network and the Radio Horror Network. If you're not listening to us live toward this recorded interview, make sure you check it out on our YouTube channel, Radio Horror, with a slideshow and all our other great comic book related interviews. And thanks to everyone who pushed us past the 1,000 mark on YouTube. Tonight on the show, we have acclaimed comic book writer returning to the show. It's been about a decade since the last time he's been on, which ages the both of us too. Steve Niles, thank you for coming back to the show, Steve.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be back.
Steve, for anyone who is not familiar with his body of work, has worked on 30 Days of Night, Frankenstein, The October Faction, which is going to become a Netflix television series, which is very, very cool. Because out of most of the things that he's done, there's two things I've absolutely eaten up from beginning to end. It was The October Faction and your most recently ended science fiction horror series, Delta 13, which was one of the best horror sci-fi stories I have encountered since the first Dead Space video game.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you liked it. It actually, it's you might find this interesting, is that I scripted it originally as a 6-issue series, and IDW only wanted to do 4 issues, so I had to chop it down. The original had a much slower burn to it.
Okay,
which is just something I have,
yeah,
because as it moves pretty rapidly.
Yeah, and I was, you don't want to critique anyone's work, especially if your work sometimes is your own work. I'm talking my own personal work is bad. But I didn't know. I was struggling, Steve, how to bring up about the 4th issue, because I really, you basically encompassed what I wanted to bring up to you, and I didn't know how to do it politely. To be like, I love the first 3 issues, but I felt like the 4th issue was like, wow, it's over? That's it? I mean, I knew it was 4 issues, yeah. But what happened?
Well, there's 2 whole issues missing. So it was supposed to, because I happen to, I'll watch 2001 every time it's on.
Uh-huh.
I love the slow burn, and originally it had it, but so that's why, yeah, the last issue just hit sort of, it's going 100 miles an hour. And just, and I wanted, I really wanted to space it out, be a little quieter, spend a little more time with, the character by herself.
Uh-huh.
At the end, and unfortunately, I had to go into overdrive, which happens sometimes.
The book felt to me like a combination of Alien meets Life Force. Do you remember Life Force?
Yeah, that's a good comparison. That's very good.
With the artwork on the cover sometimes feeling a little bit like Virus in a way, but with some H.R. Geiger stuff thrown in.
Yeah, well, actually, this is one of those stories that Nat showed me the artwork. The artwork for the cover already existed. And that was the inspiration for the story.
Uh-huh.
So, that's it. But I'm glad you like, I really love doing science fiction horror. And I actually, among the projects I have coming, is a new 3-issue thing that I'm working on that I think you'll get a kick out of. So, but it's in the very early stages right now. It's just scripted and doesn't have an artist. But I love doing that kind of stuff.
Did you ever?
I mean, some of my... Sorry?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, it just cut out for a second.
Yeah, I was going to say, because when I was thinking about that, I was thinking about Alien and Planet of the Vampires and the Beyond Space and movies like that. I never thought of Life Force, and that really does fit well.
Life Force is one of those movies which took forever to get its just dues. I'm not saying it's it's no Citizen Kane or Star Wars or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not going to say it's.
With the second half is just, it goes off the rails, but the first part, I love. I'm glad it's getting a little more credit now too.
Right. And I what was funny is I was at a comic book convention that takes place right outside where I live, which is fantastic. They had a copy of the Life Force novelization on some vendor table for $10. I bought it. And then I was on eBay just searching through vinyl because I'm a big vinyl soundtrack collector. And the Life Force soundtrack on vinyl was available for $10, and
right.
I bought it with an instant.
Even better.
Yeah, and then of course
amazing.
Scream Factory put out that amazing Blu-ray.
Oh, they did. I didn't know that it got released on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, Scream Factory put out a Blu-ray release of it in 2013, I believe. 2-disc set, DVD, Blu-ray, commentaries, interviews with the woman, whatever her name is, the naked vampire chick in the film.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Yeah, it's one of the.
Something.
Yeah, the one of those, one of those actresses who doesn't speak very little, who speaks very little English, kind of like the if you ever saw Splice, which is like a monster kind of sci-fi horror movie.
I think I saw. Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, Adrian Brody's in it.
Yeah.
When the thing, the little cute creature evolves into a gorgeous looking naked woman, it's played by a French model who don't speak any English.
Very cool.
October Faction, I bought every issue when it came out. I mean, not just because your name was on it, but I mean it was just that good, And now you have Deadly Class and the Umbrella Academy, and now you got the October Faction. Each one of those is kind of similar in certain ways, but in different ways. Like the Umbrella Academy, people are calling like Dark X-Men, and Deadly Class is X-Men, but John Wick X-Men. Which makes a lot of sense considering the Duffer Brothers kind of are, involved, and so is some John Wick people. But then you have the October Faction that is horror movie. Well, they're not. I wouldn't say they're mutants, but they're sorcerers and they're. But I could see that that kind of connection again between Deadly Class and the Umbrella Academy. It coming to Netflix. It's the perfect time.
Oh, I couldn't be happier. And actually, we have finished principal photography. We're in the editing stage now. So really what we're waiting for is Netflix has not announced a release date yet. So that's what we're waiting on. But I've seen all 10 episodes in very, very rough terms, and I'm loving it. I just love it.
Is the cast on IMDb yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Let me see here. I think you'll recognize a couple of these names. Of course, I have to look up the cast list.
Something I could have done as well. I completely forget we're recording on a computer. I'm like, sorry.
Well, Dolores Allen is played by Tamara Taylor,
Ooh.
who's done a lot of TV stuff. And Fred is played by J.C. McKenzie, and he's dead on Fred, just dead on. And then the kids are played by Viv is Aurora Berghardt, and Jeff Allen is Gabriel Darku. And they've done a great job. The showrunner actually is Damian Kindler, who is really well known for, I think he was on Krypton, but he did Sleepy Hollow.
Oh,
TV show.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen Krypton, by the way? It's awesome.
I've seen some of it. It's great.
I was one of those people early on who was just like, that's stupid. That's not going to work. I don't give a damn about Superman's grandfather. Oh my God, I give a damn about Superman's grandfather.
Yeah, they've done good with the television stuff. So I couldn't be more excited. I did a set visit and got to see, I met the cast, and they were really just great people, really friendly, and I got to see some shooting done and all the sets, and it was really amazing. They are just doing a bang-up job. So I'm just, I'm excited to see what people think of it, So hopefully we'll have a release date sometime soon.
Yeah, Tamara Taylor. Oh, my God. I was in love with her on Bones. That's right. She played Camille on Bones.
Yes.
From seasons 2 through the very end of the show.
Yeah.
And she was Wonder Woman. She was Wonder Woman in the Justice League Gods and Monsters movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
the voice. Yeah, she was the Wonder Woman from Apocalypse.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That was a great movie if you haven't saw if you've seen it. That is a great weird Justice League.
Huh. Yeah, I like the DC animation stuff. I actually got to do one. I don't know if you ever seen it, but did you ever see the Spectre short?
Yes. I have, and I completely forgot until you just mentioned it that you did that. And I honestly wanted so much more from that. I thought that was the best of the DC shorts, and no, it's not because you're talking to me right now, but I absolutely love that. And when people when I want to show them something really cool, I will throw my I think it's Crisis of Two Earths DVD in and show them the 10-minute short of that.
Yeah, that was so fun to work on, and just I just attacked it like a horror movie.
Yeah,
and then the director just made great choices, did a great job. Loved the whole retro soundtrack they did. So yeah, I got a chance to work a little with DC Animation. So I know they do really cool stuff.
That, real quick, had such a Tales from the Crypt vibe from it with the way it was set up that it made me think that they should do more of those original Spectre stories from the horror Spectre stories into animated vignettes.
Oh,
one day.
God, I would love to do more Spectre. I mean, it's a cool character. I mean, like you said, he kind of encompasses that EC mentality.
Right.
You do something wrong, you're gonna die. And he just, where it comes down, where the fun really was coming up with creative ways to kill people. So I remember the old issues when he'd materialize giant scissors and cut people in half and just all this stuff. It's pure horror. So I would love to see more of that.
I'm trying to remember. There was a Gotham book you did, right, with the Spectre? Or am I thinking of someone else?
No, I did Phantom Stranger. I did Gotham County Line with Scott Hampton, which was a Batman horror story.
Okay.
And the Phantom Stranger and Dead Man showed up.
Wait, I thought it was Gotham After Midnight or something. Am I thinking of the wrong thing?
Oh, that was another one.
Okay, that's what it was.
Kelly Jones.
Right. Okay, that's where my memory is going. Okay.
But those are fun. Batman's, how can you not have fun writing Batman?
Yeah, we are on the eve as of the day we're recording this and the day this airs. Might not be in time for when we throw it on YouTube, but as of the 24th, this coming Tuesday, midnight release at your local comic book shop, Detective Comics number 1000.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, I got to get down to the comic store. I want to grab some of those covers. Look incredible.
We kind of glanced over. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up just a bit. Just going back to the October faction, just real quick. There was the 14 issues of that, and there was a second series, right? Because I only have every issue from the first series.
I think there's 4 now. There's 4 or 5 series done now. It's a total of, there are 30 issues out.
Oh my God, I'm so far behind then. I am such a terrible fan. Because I have the original series. Then I didn't. I guess I gotta go track down everything else. We just had Frank Barbary on the show last week. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, of course.
I had no idea until 2 weeks before he came on the show that Five Ghosts lasted more than 5 issues, because I bought the first 5 issues in a quarter bin. And I was at my local comic shop, and I saw 3 trade paperbacks for it. I was like, "What? There's more 5 Ghosts?" And I tweeted to him of that or whatever. And he's just like, "Yeah, there's more than 5 issues." I remember you tweeting to me saying, "I found the 5 issues of the series," and I think I tweeted back saying, "I think there's more. You might want to go check." But maybe you didn't see that tweet. And I was like, "No, I didn't." And I was so excited. And he came on the show last weekend. We talked about 5 Ghosts for a half an hour.
Did he do are those in so was the first 5 issues like a mini series?
No, it was a 15, 16 issue series or something like that. It got canceled after it filled 3 trade paperbacks, and he has hinted, and you can't talk about everything. There is something coming of 5 Ghosts, he said, is returning.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, it's the best comic book nobody read. And he's like, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah,
Recently, in the last year or so, we lost Bernie Wrightson. Among the many comic book creators that we have been losing lately. Bernie Wrightson, I never saw, until Stan and Steve died this past year, I didn't see as much outpouring love for somebody in the comic book industry as much as I saw Bernie Wrightson in such a long time. People die in comic books, the creators, writers, artists, there's always love and support. But it'd been a while since I saw as much love and support for Bernie Wrightson as I had seen. Probably not since maybe Gene Cullen. And you guys worked together on Frankenstein. What can you talk about with Bernie?
We were, we were best friends. And that I was going to say is one of the things I think why people remember him so well is, not only was he a master, as far as an artist, he also was just the friendliest guy in the world. He made everybody feel like they were his best friend. So when he, left us, I think it really gutted everybody. But, we worked on a lot of stuff together. When Bernie decided to come back to do comics, because he had been doing a lot of movie art, things like that. He did the Swamp Thing parody with Len for Treehouse of Horror, The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. And he sort of got a taste for comics again, and we started talking, and we did a 5-issue series called City of Others that was sort of him. He was just kind of coming back, and he didn't want to ink, so he did the whole thing from pencil, and Jose Villarruba came in and worked from the pencils for color. And then we worked on a series of 3 books for IDW. It was Dead She Said, Doc Macabre, and The Ghoul. And what we were doing was sort of creating a Bernie Wrightson universe. And then after that, that's when Bernie just came to me one day and he just said, I think I want to do more Frankenstein. And, I was floored because that was my introduction to Bernie, was his Illustrated Frankenstein, the Marvel edition, from way back. Mm-hmm. I had it as a little kid, and so the fact that he wanted to do more Frankenstein was just incredible. And we would, I've talked about it a lot, but we would have every Friday night, we had a Scrabble game. We'd get pizza and beer, we'd play Scrabble, and we would talk through these stories. And with all the other stuff, it was basically we would talk and I would go off and script. With Frankenstein, we would talk. Bernie went straight to the page. I mean, he was doing writing, he was doing art. He was just like, I don't know if you've had a chance to see the art in that.
Yes.
But it was as good as anything he's ever done. I mean, some of it was just astounding. So, so we did that. And then, unfortunately, he got sick. And it was Bernie's idea to finish it. And, there actually was no debate about who to pick to finish the series. Everybody, IDW, Bernie, and me all came up with Kelly Jones. So Kelly came in and finished it for him, which I'm so happy. Otherwise, it would be his last project would have been incomplete. So, I'm really glad we've got the hardcover out now, and people get to see Bernie's last work. So I'm really happy about that.
Kelly Jones, has always been one of those people I've wanted to meet. I got introduced to his artwork, I think like most people my age would have, through his Dracula Batman Elseworld story. And it was one of those... What? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing.
Oh, okay.
No, I was just saying how much I love that. That's the same stuff that introduced me. The Dead Man and the Red Rain, I think was what that was called, was my introduction to Kelly.
Right. He did the Dracula Batman, Dracula Red Rain, and then the Batman, the follow-up one that has like the werewolf Catwoman in it. And it was like one of those comics when I'm like 10 years old, 11 years old. It's like finding your dad's Playboy. You're not supposed to be looking at it. It's a violent comic book, and you're like, every chance you get when you're in the bookstore, long before the internet was a thing where you could just go online and try and find it. But you're in the bookstore, you see it, and you're flipping through it, and no one's like, you're looking over your shoulder. It's like you just found the Kama Sutra, and you know what I mean? It was just one of those comics that I felt was like, I should not be reading this. and it blew me away.
Kelly's starting to do more conventions and stuff, so you might get a chance to meet him.
Yeah, maybe he'll get booked for the Boston Comic Con. That'd be great.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great guy. I've worked with him a lot. I mean, I did the Batman thing with him, but before that, we did 3 graphic novels of the series I do for Dark Horse called Criminal Macabre. And boy, he was fun to work with. He has an encyclopedic knowledge of horror, and there's not a better guy to talk to. I mean, he can tell you everything.
You've done science fiction horror. You've done, of course, vampires. It goes without saying. 30 Days a Night, is like one of the biggest things that you're so well known for. You're working in superheroes right now with Kick-Ass, and you've got the occult going with the October faction. What's a piece of the comic book industry, and not necessarily horror, which you're kind of a horror maestro, but what's a piece of the comic book industry you haven't touched yet that you want to do? And again, it doesn't have to be horror.
I've had really good luck. I never wanted to do like a whole big Marvel series, but I got to write the Hulk and the Thing and all the pre-hero monsters. Remember when years back that series they did with all the Eric Powell covers, and they did Monsters on the Prowl.
Right, yeah, and they collected them all, I think, in a hardcover of some kind with a bunch of their original reprints of Golden Age comics.
Exactly. Yeah, and I got to do it with Duncan Fegredo. So that was like, I've always wanted to write the Hulk. I've always wanted to write the Thing. The monsters of the Marvel Universe. And then for DC, I got to do a lot of stuff. So I really got all that out of my system. So really, where I am trying to think of different stuff to do right now. But you know what? I always get pulled back to horror. I always get pulled back. I just, even when I start to write something nice, I always wind up throwing in horror. So, I don't know. I'm kind of comfortable there. I really have to admit, there's not much I'm wanting to do. I'm very happy doing independent comics and just kind of doing, whatever I want.
IDW will call you up and say, hey, we want you to do My Little Pony, but it's going to be dark and edgy.
Yeah, I was just saying it'd be the darkest My Little Pony you've ever read, for sure.
You write like the dark purple pony and the black pony and the dark green pony or whatever. The Count Dracula pony.
Yeah, that would be funny. I've been asked to do some peculiar things, but yeah, not like that.
It's like the Soska sisters are breaking into comic books or whatever. They're doing Black Widow right now.
Yeah, have you had a chance to read it?
No, Black Widow's always been an okay character for me, but I think I have most of her stuff in trade paperback, so I got to wait till it's collected.
I live in the middle of nowhere, so I don't get to comic stores very often. I do most of my stuff through mail order, but I've been really curious to see what they've been doing. I'm friends with Jen on Facebook, and she's the sweetest person, really nice.
They've never gotten out here to Massachusetts, and we got like 2 cons out here, and it's like they are like one of the most popular requested for the couple cons that we have out here in New England for horror. We after 15 years, we got Bruce Campbell finally coming to a local convention, which is great, and he's like been the con's most requested guest since day one.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of sometimes working out schedules and things like that. That whole shebang.
I gotta get back to doing cons. It's literally been a few years. So
did you just get burnt out?
Sorry?
Did you just get like burnt out from doing them, or was it just like focusing on work more?
I was doing like 8 a year, and it was just it got to be too much, and I just wanted to focus on my writing. So that's what I've been doing, and it's going pretty well.
When are we ever going to see Simon Dark come back?
Oh, I wish. DC's never said a word about him to me or Scott. But God, I would love to work with Scott Hampton again. He's one of my favorites, and I've known him, since the late 80s, early 90s. He's one of the first people I met in comics. So, I'd love to work with him again. That was a really fun series to do. And I was very proud it lasted as long as it did, being it never had Batman in it, or I really avoided doing any crossovers.
Well, there's a possibility that he could show up on a certain Bat female show that's coming up on the CW. You never know.
That would be amazing.
Set in Gotham. She's going to be set in Gotham City because her cousin's disappeared. So it's time for Batwoman to step up. If that show has some type of longevity, hopefully. I don't know much about its development right now, but if the LGBT community has their say, Batwoman will last for a while.
Yeah.
And it's Gotham. What was that?
I'm curious about that show. I think, you can say what you want about DC movies, they're touch and go, but they've done really good stuff with their TV shows.
Right. I mean, I'm surprised they're not letting Arrow go for 15 seasons like Supernatural has. But but I mean, Stephen Amell had to come out and say, like, my contract ends with 7, but I want to do one more, but it's going to be short. It's going to be like 10 episodes. So the next season of Arrow will be the final, which makes sense considering they're going to be doing Crisis on Infinite Earths. So we'll see how that's going to all tie together.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the other big thing I would love again to see come back, and we were just talking about it before we started recording, is Mystery Society.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to do more Mystery Society. My thing is with that, I'm very locked in. I think I can't. Well, I did do it with another artist, and it was great. But it just, Fiona was my partner in that. And it would be weird to do it without her, do anymore. But I would be, if IDW asked, I would be completely open to doing more Mystery Society. Because we hardly got started. Just had that first series, and that was it.
Yeah, and I don't know if Saga is unending like The Walking Dead, or if they have a Saga ending planned.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know they took a break.
That's because he has to go do because when he takes a break from Saga, he's doing Paper Girls, and then when he stops Paper Girls, he goes back to Saga. So he's like back and forth between the two books.
Yeah, and plus he's I forgot. They just announced he's scripting a movie, and I can't remember what it is.
Oh yeah, and then there's also the Why the Last Man TV series he's involved with too, so that's probably taking up his time.
Yeah, well, Brian's always been very, very busy, but he's a great guy.
But you're right. I would love to see those. I don't want to see anyone else on Mystery Society. It's It's everything I love in a comic book. It's got this. I'm not a big romance person, but those two characters work so well. Main character, one of the main character, the female main character is kind of a goth chick. It's got everything I love in a comic book.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing too. I get so tired of whenever I read or watch a movie or anything, the couples are always at each other. There's always some dilemma that pulls them apart, and then they come back together. I just wanted to write about a happy couple. It was hugely inspired by the Thin Man movies, because I always loved, William Powell and Myrna Loy. Do you know those movies?
I'm a little bit familiar with them.
Yeah, they're back. I mean, I think the first one came out in the late 30s. If you get a chance, watch them. It's just silly fun. But that was sort of the idea. Have this really happy couple that just has too much money, and they want to have adventures, and they want to, so they put together this group. And I just really, really had fun with that. Especially since everything I write is so grim. Most of the time my characters don't survive. So it was really nice just to write kind of a positive, upbeat comic.
I thought maybe you based the couple's love for each other and them not bickering, like as you put it, a lot of couples do, on like how the Addams Family are with Gomez and Morticia. You watch all 60-something episodes of the Addams Family, Gomez and Morticia never fought with each other. There was like one episode they got a little jealous at each other, and it was played for laughs, and that's fine. But they never had like a fight.
No, that's good. Actually, I never thought of that one. That's actually really good. That's one of the few examples of a just totally loving couple.
And I've taken
that came from the.
Go ahead. Sorry, your Skype breaks up a little bit, and it cuts out half of what you say, so it sounds like you're ending. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, are you familiar with goth music at all?
Yes, we play it quite often, and we've had a lot of our guests this year have been either people like you, comic book people, or goth girls who are also musicians.
Yeah, well, I'm actually I played in bands, not goth bands. I played in punk bands years before I did comics. But do you know a band called Faith and the Muse?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Well, the singer is my wife. I'm married to the singer.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. We will try to drum up some of that music to play tonight.
Yeah, we've known each other since we were 17. We came up in the Washington D.C. punk scene. I played in bands, she played in tons of bands, and then we lost track of each other for 15, 20 years, and then I ran into her at a party here in California, and basically we've been inseparable ever since.
Oh,
But yeah, so she still does music, and I do music, and we've got a with the writing and music, and she does graphic arts and music and stuff. So we've got a very creative house going. But yeah, I love that I've known her as long as I have.
you could say you're almost like your own mystery society, except for you guys don't go on archaeological adventures and team up with aliens from Area 51.
Yeah, we assemble animals. We have a lot of animals. We live out in the country, so we have quite a bit.
How many pets do you have?
Right now, 11.
Wow.
I think, yeah, 10, 11. We've got, because one of them, I'm always posting on Twitter, so you may have seen him, but we've got 100-pound tortoise.
Wow.
And we've got
Wait, you say that one more time? 100 pounds?
100-pound tortoise.
Wow.
I got him when he fit in the palm of my hand, and in 11 years, he has grown to be a dinosaur.
Jeez.
So he just lives in the backyard. He's got his own house, and he's got a little winter place we put him in with heat and all that. But yeah, he just keeps getting bigger. So, he's pretty funny. So I'm always posting pictures of him.
Oh my god, that is a big turtle. I'm always used to the ones that are like the size of your hand.
Exactly. I know. And he's only 11 years old, so God knows how big he's gonna get. Actually, if you can see my icon, that's a picture of him.
No, your icon shows up as a thing, as an SNN.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're not friends. We ain't friends on Skype, so I don't get to see it.
Excellent. Oh, well, good luck with that.
Steve, this could go on for so much longer. I appreciate you so much for coming back on the show with us and talking about Delta 13 and the October faction. And God, I cannot wait till the TV series comes out. I'm assuming it's probably going to start in October if they're in post production right now.
I have a sneaky suspicion.
They probably won't put it up against, let's say, Stranger Things, which starts in July. So.
Yeah, I don't think they wouldn't do that. Hopefully. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's been my my guess too.
Oh, I can't wait. I will be like hosting a binge watch party for it and probably line up the home theater at the house that I live in. My roommate has a home theater. I will be like placing the comic books along the wall. Now I got to go track down the rest of the issues too because I'm finding out that oh yes, there was more series to it and I stopped reading it after the first one.
Yeah, there's a lot more. There's a lot more there. So,
oh yeah, I gotta.
So yeah, I'd love to see what you think. I'm glad you like it because that is the most fun series I have to write.
And again, Delta 13, one of the best horror stories, science fiction horror stories I've read since or encountered since the first Dead Space video game.
Excellent. Well, hopefully you like the new one I'm working on, which hopefully we'll be able to announce in a couple months.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much, Steve, for coming on the show with us again.
All right. Thanks a lot. I hope to come back on again. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We will definitely have you on again. We won't wait another decade.
Yeah. Okay. Deal.